Morning. The headlines are, we're starting off with the Punch newspaper this morning. We have IBAS rejects Assembly's move to probe 6-month spending. Bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for direct Dangote support. Next up, we have This Day. El Rufai, Tinubu planning life presidency, not genuine Democrat. That's what El Rufai says in the This Day newspaper. Shatima's Senate, Northern governors, Ododo, celebrate First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at 65. In the Guardian newspaper, we have Women Coalition to storm NAS over reserved seats bill. We got an information this morning that it's been moved to the Transcorp Hotel, not NAS, because NAS is not sitting. Presidency tells Sani to counsel El Rufai over live presidency claims. Daily Trust, how officers were killed. Patrol van burnt in Benue ambush. Officers shot dead as gunmen raid police checkpoints in Kogi State. In the Vanguard newspaper, we have crude oil imports hit record high as Dangote refinery reshapes trade flow. Next up, we have Otedola to Dapman. Your business model is outdated. Dangote transforming petroleum sector. In the Tribune newspaper, we have I never told anyone I wanted third term. Obasanjo opens up. 2027, any party with Peter Obi has more than 40% of votes, says PDP chieftain. Premium Times says, from displacement to degrees, private camp in Edo turns terrorism survivors into professionals. Police confirm 10 dead in Sokoto boat mishap. In the Nation newspaper, we have Otedola over 2 trillion naira siphoned into fraudulent fuel subsidy claims under Jonathan. Oni Ile-Ife residents clash over alleged extortion for Olojo Festival levy. In the cable newspaper, we have federal government revokes 1,263 mining licenses over unpaid service fees. EFCC may probe defaulters. Petron says NNPC has engaged American firm to assess PH refinery. In the pen-pushing newspaper, we have Tinubu to declare 2025 editors' annual conference open in Abuja. Also in the pen-pushing newspaper, we have Ogun State governorship aspirant Amuson congratulated Remi Tinubu on 65th birthday. Finally, in the national dailies this morning, we have Daily Post, Natasha's trial for alleged cybercrime against Akpabio. Yahaya Bello begins in, that's today, September 22nd. IBAS must account for Rivers money, says Ankyo Briggs. Those are the headlines in the national dailies this morning. You want to do well to get you a copy, and you want to do well to check online.
Good morning, Fumi, and how was your weekend? I guess you are working alone this morning.
Yes, told earlier. Yes. She says she sent her apology. She says she's unavoidably absent.
Yeah, don't worry. I know that our listeners and our radio family, they've got your back, and we're always here for you. So keep cool.
Thank you. It's good to see you. How was your weekend?
Well, work field and little rest, but we move. Another Monday we go again. Yeah, work field and little rest. How about you? So you were
Mine
able
was
to
busy. No, I did not have any rest. I was busy this weekend. I can't even believe it. Like Saturday I was busy. Yesterday I was busy, and I was just like, who sent me? But yeah, we're here this morning. You know, I'm doing this, so we move. Like you said, we move.
Yeah, we move.
First of all, it's the countdown to VOW 2025 is on, and that's we are how many days? Pardon me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I still have
Wednesday,
9
Thursday.
days. Is it 9 days or 10 days?
No, it's on the 2nd of October, so that should be 10 days.
10 days. So we are 10 days down to VOW 2025. Emmanuel, do you want to tell our listeners what VOW 2025 is all about?
Well, FAR 25 is the Voice of Women conference, and it's been on for 8 years. This is the ninth edition, and basically, what it's all about, it's women from different geopolitical zones all around Nigeria. They come together to examine policy, to also not even just political women. We have business women, technocrats, advocates, and all. They come together under an umbrella to deliberate, to chart a course forward. Gives women a chance to like check whatever it is, look at their planning and see how they can chart another course for this year. So this year, it's the power of collective action, and it's about bringing women together and showing that when you come together, you have power, and why you've not had the power is because you've been divided. So I think it's going to be a great time. And looking at the lineup, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, CFR, will be there. Also, the Speaker, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, GCON, will also be there. And we have the Minister for Women Affairs. We have the Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Gil Leva, will also be there. So we have a whole lot of people that would be there. Satu Adegbite, we have Minister for State Labour and Productivity. So these are policymakers that can be engaged, and Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, so the likes of them will be there. So these are policymakers that can be engaged, and I hope it's going to be a good time for the women, because some of us are rooting for them to get something unique and something great out of this country and take their rightful place. So I hope the power of collective action will actually push them towards getting that. So it's 10 days and it's going to be an interesting one. Fingers crossed. Where we'll come and talk about the gains of VOW 2025.
Yes, yes. And moving into our first headline this morning, we're still talking about women. It's from the Guardian newspaper. Women coalition to storm NASS, the National Assembly, over reserved seats bill. If you've been an ardent listener to Women Radio, you know that we've been talking about the push for the special seats reserved for women bill at the National Assembly. This is important. So to get into it, a coalition of more than 750 Nigerian women will converge on the National Assembly to press for the passage of a special seats reserved for women bill at the National Public Hearing on Constitutional Reforms, scheduled for today, Monday to September 22nd, 2025. In a statement signed by the chairman of the Women's Political Participation Technical Working Group, Ebere Ifendu, more than 750 women drawn from all states, all 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory are participating in the march and the submission of a memorandum to the National Assembly. According to the statement, the women's groups are mobilizing under the Women's Political Participation Technical Working Group, with activities beginning at the Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development at 9 a.m. From there, they will march to the National Assembly to formally present their memorandum. Ifendu described the work as a collective demonstration of unity by women across the country. The reserved seats bill is not just about the numbers, it's about securing women's rightful place, like Emmanuel just said, in governance, and ensuring that their voices are heard where decisions that affect their lives, the lives of human beings generally, are made. Further urged journalists and media houses across the nation to rise to the moment by giving maximum coverage and standing as allies to the women's cause. In a press release by them, that's Ebere Ifendu, the chairman of the Women's Political Participation Technical Working Group. She said the NASS is currently on, that's the National Assembly, is currently on recess. So instead, the women will assemble at the Miriam Babangida National Center for Women Development early in the morning. From there, they would embark on a peaceful walk to the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, where the leadership of the National Assembly is expected to receive their memorandum during a stakeholder meeting. Again, she says, it's not about the numbers, it's about securing women's rightful places. An ally that they've had so far in getting the special seats reserved for women bill is the media, and they're calling on the media, which is what we're doing this morning as well, to join forces with them still, so that this bill can be passed. Now, about this bill, in case somebody is wondering, the bill seeks an amendment to the 1999 Constitution to provide reserved seats for women in the National Assembly and state houses of assembly. This reform is designed to strengthen inclusive governance and guarantee greater representation of women in decision-making processes. When Emmanuel was speaking earlier about, vow and talking about women, I find it interesting that men can be a bit resistant to women wanting to come into power because we've been tagged as emotional. But I want to dare to say that I think that men are more emotional than women. They just hide it under plenty English. Oh, they're logical. Oh, they're this. But I find that in terms of who can multitask more, and this is not a who is better conversation. This is not a debate of, oh, I'm better, or man is not better. It's just that over time we've seen that women can shoulder responsibilities, and they can do their responsibilities well, with grace, with elegance, and with a lot of strength. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this bill? It just seems like, oh yes, some political leaders have come out to say, oh yeah, we'll support you. But at the same time, it seems like we're having to push and push and push. It's like we're begging to be recognized. What are your thoughts on it?
First and foremost, let me say it's not that women are begging to be recognized. Power is not given, power is taken. And it's something that I'm happy that Nigerian women are just getting to realize. So let me tell you, under the old establishment, when we were under colonial rule, power was not given to those who fought for independence. That's why we say fought for independence. Power was demanded and was taken. Though the question still boils down to, are we fully independent? That's the question. But those are forefathers, are patriarchs in democracy. They demanded it, they asked for it. So this is one thing that I'm happy that Nigerian women are beginning to understand. Politics is different from business, corporate sector. So when you say women can multitask and fine, I'm happy, and I've been an advocate of women doing well, especially in both public and private sector. And we always cheer them on whenever they get a position. But the political terrain and political settings is different. That's why Tinubu himself, before the election, said they should grab it. Power is a la carte. So the truth about it is, see, the special seats bill is something that our democracy needs right now. We are signatory to the Sustainable Development Goal, and we must find a way to accommodate our women in our political setting. We were signatory to the 35% affirmation of suspension. 15 states have speaks to the fact that when decisions are being made, do a man understand how the woman nature works? The question is no. You might have an idea based on the fact that you've read a lot, you've asked questions, you've done research, but only a woman understands the woman word.
Yes.
And basically, even God, when God created woman, he created woman specially because he took a part of man to create woman, especially because he took a part of man to create woman, but he never took a part of woman to because a little bit of what has killed our politics is and our democracy is the selfish nature of men who have taken power. The question is, men, you've done this for about 60 years. Let's also bring women on board. Let's see what they can contribute to this democracy. See, when you are a child, they will tell you that at the social phase of your life, don't move closer to a man or to a woman. That is the phase you are growing up. But it gets to a stage, you have the permission to mix up with the opposite gender. Our democracy is no longer a baby; it's growing up to be an adult, And this is the time we need to like bring everyone together, men and women. We need to mix so that the development can be rapid. So this reserve seat bill for women, which was sponsored by Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the Deputy Speaker's representative, I hope that when the public hearing is done, that they will get the numbers. And I speak to women this morning. It's not about just staging a peaceful walk, the advocacy and all. You need to do the grassroots work. This grassroots work is getting through to every member of the State House of Assembly, every member of the Federal House of Representatives, and every senators, because these are the people that are crucial in getting this bill passed. We can't just start from the top when we've not done the basic work. I remember the work that was put in when we did the Not Too Young to Run bill, which was a whole lot of work and a whole lot of advocacy, grassroots work, and a whole lot. So a lot of sensitization has to take place. And it's not about just sitting in Abuja and going to the NAS leadership for you to get this. See, this is the right time to get this. Don't forget that in the 9th Assembly, it was introduced, but was never passed.
Yes.
So this is the right time to get this because momentum is on your side. If you miss the opportunity of getting this, I'm not sure how you will get it back. Maybe you have to wait. And the beauty about the reserve seat bill for women is the fact that it has a sunset clause. So 16 years for election cycle. So it's just a development that we should watch out for. But for someone like me, I'm rooting for this bill to be passed. But peradventure, when this bill is passed, I want to advise women, don't allow the worst of you to take the slots. Get the best of you to take the slots. Because it's just like you are sitting for a trials, and what you do in the trials determine whether you would get in. Just like a player going for a tryout with a club side, he has to perform very well for the club side to sign him. We've had players who have done tryout and they return back to their village because they didn't perform well. So at this point, it has a sunset clause. I would just say, when the bill is passed, dear women, kindly get the best of you to represent you, not those who will get into the chambers and will not be able to speak. So it's just something we need to like watch out for. The development is good. They are marching and we are supporting the march, and we are hoping that basically we get this reserve seat bill for women.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I really like what you said at the later end, because that's also maybe the concern of not just the men, but even some women, because we've seen over time that some women, I mean, like I typically say that there are bad eggs in both sides, but where the majority is men and they're like, you're having to fight, like you rightly said at the beginning, for your position, or you want to take your position, it's almost like you have to prove yourself twice as much that you're capable and you will do an even better job than the men. But most importantly, it's just this last statement you made, that who is going, and that was the question I was going to ask, who are the people that are going to be tendered to get into these positions, because that's critical. Because if you say, oh, it's just one random person you want to go into the house. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning, Manu.
Good morning. Good morning. Prince, is this you?
Listening. Mr. Prince is on the line this morning.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes. Mr. Manu, congratulations for the forthcoming program that you just highlighted before the newspaper headline. But the names you mentioned are the names that are still intimidating the women folks that will be coming to speak just to make applause on the floor of wherever the venue will be held. Now, to the project the headline you just mentioned or discussed about, I want to ask, for me, you are a woman representative this morning, since Towu is not there. And I want to ask you a question as a journalist. Is it what should I call it? Is it the plead to belong reform that you want, or recognizing that you have the population and doing what I call deliberate education for women to take over power? Is it to beg the same men who intimidate you to give you a reserved seat that you want, or you walking to women that are educated who are afraid of coming out because they believe that the men have what they call the egocentric mindset, and we never allow them. Which of them will pay you better? The phone you are begging to be, or the bill you are begging to have now, begging to have it. Have your people thought about the impossibility of that person that is going to represent you being able to speak because it was a plea to belong? You don't have access. You are begging. You are doing all these things you are saying now. For me, the way I see it, that you are begging the men to reserve something for you, and what you have reserved for, you don't have access to the main thing. Now, Natasha got a vote from the people, got into the assembly. Please, what brought the issue of Natasha open? They moved her from where she was originally meant to see to another place. They call it rearrangement, right? That was the political English they used for us. Where the camera can no longer see her. Where her mic will not be on anytime she wants to speak, as she always do. Please, can you people examine this and use it as a footstep, or as a, what do I use now? As an opportunity into what is coming in the future. If Christ tarry and he never comes soon, if these women beg to get those political appointments and get there into the state or whatever assembly they will get into, do you think their voice will be heard? These are anything that should be discussed. And besides the people that are fronting this, are people currently in power who are not even viable. Please, Fumi, tell us how many of the women that are representing you now in National Assembly and State Assemblies are speaking. How many of their voices have you heard? I want to leave you on that. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Prince, for calling. And to be honest, I love your passion. I every time we talk about women, that seems to be when we see you, we get a rise out of you most of the time. Looks like we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello,
good morning. Good morning, Evangelist Dixon. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. It's a rainy day.
Yes, it's a rainy day. Yes, it is.
I've been listening to you. In as much as I want women to be fully represented anyway, but I think what you need now is good governance and strong opposition to push this government to do the right thing. Not only good women, as when I'm talking of women, not every woman. As we need men, good women, we need good youth who that have the fear of God to be able to move this system forward. People who know that they brought nothing, they are taking nothing. And one day they can do anything and get away here in Nigeria. They cannot get away with God. Remember, this Natata issue, it's not the first thing that was from the national. Remember one man and the other, because of what they did. And what they did was no wrong. And people, instead of them to read and teach people, they let them. Now it's Natata song. Sometimes if something does not concern the way we look at it, we don't even care, we just abandon it. Let me tell you, as an evangelist, I have never been an advocate of women or gender equality, and I will never support it anywhere, and according to the scripture. But I stop where Bible stop at all. But I want women to do that. And remember, God balanced everything up. As God made man at the head of the home, and then so also, when that man progress, that man's success is based on the happiness of the woman. Bible balanced everything up. So I'm a person that stop where that's why I never have a better one women, good women, people like Akili, people like Jojo Konjo Wala. We are talking of women, talk because as we have bad women, we have bad. So let good women be so that let us move the, and every one of us anywhere we are, let us all do the right thing anywhere. Let's do that. One day we go back to God and give account, and that's the only way we turn it. Even if I have all the money, one day you brought nothing, I still nothing out of this. So I believe Nigeria is God bless you. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Evangelist Dixon, for your call. To answer you, we have another call. Okay. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Mrs. Oboli, I'm glad to hear your voice this morning.
Good morning, no. Mr.
Good
Emmanuel,
morning.
you're on fire this morning.
Good morning.
Please go ahead. I'm so glad to hear your voice.
Emmanuel, They are firing Mr. Emmanuel left and right this morning.
In fact,
Okay, quickly, let me speak to this morning's issue. Mr. Emmanuel, I heard your submission as you were talking this morning. In order to balance it with what Femi had said this morning and the first caller, my question now is, are we seeking for validation as women? Are we being, brought into the sector because we have something upstairs? Or are we being considered as an endangered species that they just say they want to manage? You see, Mr. Prince said a couple of things that got me thinking this morning. In Western climes, is it the same thing that obtains where you say they want to pass a reserved seat bill for women because they are trying to package, pamper, and package us to say we look like this when we don't really look like this? Are we grabbing power? Are we, because we know power is not served or given a la carte, but are we being recognized as women who are able to speak up, or because these seats are reserved for us, we don't hold the AC? We can't speak or lend credence of our voice to things that are going wrong because, after all, let me use that language in Yoruba, at the position unit. It's not as if we earn it. It's not as if we command power. Is it the same thing that obtains in Western climes? Or they are being given something, or they grab onto the rings of power because they are qualified and they can give what they can give. I hear women speak on Fumi's show, the lens, women's lens, and even this particular newspaper review, and I see the passion. Women have held position with their hairdresser in society, and I see them turning out something beautiful. Is it because in Nigeria, it's always a man's world, we have a patriarchal society that you see us? Because what you said this morning, Mr. Emmanuel, I know you're trying to balance things up, but there was something you said that keeps ringing in my head. You said we should put our best foot forward. I understand that. But can you tell a man also to put their best foot forward? Yes. But why is it that every time it is always the woman, as if we don't know how to pound in the mortar, we are pounding on the floor? Although I know we've made wrong choices during some aspects where we're giving power. We've made wrong choices. It's good for you to come up for the right choice. But I am saying, are we supposed to be begging for a reserved seat bill? Enlighten my how do I put it now? Enlighten this my head that is not enlightened. I don't want to say I'm dull, but enlighten me, because it's more or less looking as if the women are begging when the men just go there and pick it and take it without apologies, unapologetically. But the women, we have to crave, we have to struggle, we have to, and that is what Philly was saying in our intro this morning. Please enlighten me, because it seems the women are being stifled and shushed up and whipped into line while the men just go there and grab it. I find it utterly ridiculous that a man was chair of women affairs. How does he know how to see menstruation? I don't get it. Like, my head is just spinning around. Let me hold on here before I go and say what they will sanction me this morning. Good morning, Madam Tony. Good morning, Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to our callers. Emmanuel, I wanted to answer Prince so I can give him details. He was asking about how many women. We have 64 women occupying out of 1,460 legislative seats. We have 19 women in the House of Assemblies, 4 in the Senate, like Emmanuel had mentioned. Well, 3 now because 1 has been suspended, and then 15 in the House of Representatives. Out of 469 available seats, 49 out of the 991 seats are available for women. Those are the stats. Emmanuel, you see, when I started, I knew what I was saying, right? Because to me, right, it also seems like we are pandering to this men, we're begging. I believe that we need men to be our allies. That's something I believe, because I know for sure that based off of how this world has been created, the man's world, like they always say, it seems like the men always have, how like this world has been, the men always have, you know, an advantage, which is why I believe that we need men to be allies. But then the question here is, in seeking for men to be allies, are we begging? You know, I literally said it seems like we are begging. I picked my words very carefully, because if we have women who are qualified, it's almost like when they now give one woman out of how many seats, we should be grateful with our lives that, thank you, Esheo, that kind of thing. But I'm just going to let you respond to Prince, because Prince came with some passionate anger this morning, and then Evangelist Dixon, and then Mrs. Oboli, who's also asking questions. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Well, the challenge about the reserve seats bill is the fact that it's something that is new in our dispensation. And we see it as the fact that, are women begging to be accepted? But let me just make context to some African countries. We speak of Kenya, that they have women representation. Kenya has a law, reserve seats bill law for women. That's why you have women in parliament. Burundi has a law. Rwanda has a law. Senegal has a law. Zimbabwe has a law. So all these countries, just to mention a few, all these countries, they have laws. I'm just talking about Africa. Even in India, there is the reserve seats law. See, power is something that we need to include our women in. And in Nigeria, contesting politically can be draining, because you are contesting with people who have access to resources, loans, and a whole lot of others. For me, if you wake up today to contest your, let me say, your state house of assembly, your constituency in Ogun State, how successful will you be? Because you are contesting against people that do have the cash chest. Let me call it cash chest. These are people that can subscribe to any form of violence just to be in power. And how can this change? You have to find a way to get into the system and effect a change. See, one of the most important components of government is the legislative arm of government. When we spoke about political appointment, 35% affirmation, that is at the merit of the president, the governors, and all to appoint. But when we speak to reserve seats bill, it is about the people voting and bringing people in. So it is not that women would be there and they will not be able to speak. See, if you want power, you have to find a way to get into power. 40 years after men started voting, that's when women got the right to vote in Nigeria. And that was what we had in most part of the world. I don't know who brought about that mentality, and then we deprive women of some certain rights.
Because women were dedicated to the kitchen and to the house.
Yeah, but before we move forward, there are some things, basics to me, that I believe women have to find their way in. Permit me to say, I mentioned that the best of the women must be put forward to effect this change.
Yes.
Let me tell you one thing. If a woman gets into power, I'm not saying the best of the women, if they get into power, how many people do they train to take over power from them? If a woman should get into power today and another woman is there, they will be fighting and beefing each other. Because it feels like, this one is coming to take over my power.
Sorry to cut you, Emmanuel, but men beef each other as well.
No, men beef each other. But look at men. They have political godsons. How many women will you say has political godsons? Men build so that they can become relevant even after leaving power. What is the accessibility to these women when they are in power? That's why we're saying that, see, women can still contest the normal seats. It's allowed. We have 109 senators. Under this special seat, 109 senators. Women can still contest. Peradventure, women win 60-something% of the 109 seats in the Senate. And then they have the special seats, they become the majority in the House. So what we're saying is that we need to provide a pathway to balance our democracy, not that women are begging for it. The bill was introduced by a man, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. So if it was not important to the democratic setting, see, there's a misplacement in our legislation, because men cannot be legislating over women's matter. We have a whole lot of GBV, a lot of things that concerns women, and the number is low. And the assembly is where these laws are made. So we need women to be there. It's not that what was it called? It's not that anybody is relegating the women. Nobody is relegating the women. And if you notice, I said that as this is going on, there must be proper representation by the women, putting out the best fruits. Because see, if you put out the wrong fruits to take over this seat for you, people that would not be able to speak, people that will be there and just keep quiet based on the fact that they want to remain in the Senate, in the House of Assembly, and the essence of all this is defeated. So at this point, what we need to do is find a way to put our women in politics, especially legislative arm of government. This is where the laws are made. I mentioned 15 states don't have women representation. That is worrisome. Because how will 15 states in the country not have women representation in parliament? Who makes the law for the women? Ms. Obolu was laughing that I said the Chair's Committee of Women Affairs is a man. Yes, I witnessed it live. I saw people say, I just want to say what I witnessed. Because basically at this point, who legislates for women there? Who fights for women? Who makes law? Who proposes bill for women to help them? So it's not that women are begging. And it's not that women are coming, as Evangelist said, to take over the structure that God has put in place. People like Omedo will have their husband are doing well, they respect they have a family, they still respect the family unit. But what we're saying is that when it comes to all this, we should also give our women a chance.
A fighting chance.
And it is going to be hard. See, if it's going to be hard, we've seen it in time past, for a woman to contest where men are. Because see, the access they have and the resources, only few women has it. If we are not speaking well, we saw what Ireti Kingigbe went through in Abuja when she contested against Philip of the PDP. We saw what Natasha went through in Kogi State. Just to mention a few. So when you look at it, the institution is the way it is already. And how can we make a change? Two wrongs don't make a right when it comes to making a change. Women have to find their way in. And finding their way in is in every way possible. And when they have that slight opening and they take it, they have to take it with the best of them. Because if the best of them don't take it, the fight will be defeated and then they will be set years back. So that's just my conclusion on that. And for the VAR conference that Prince mentioned and said there are people that what was it called? People that are speaking up. Yeah, I would not say that. Because when you look at someone like this current assembly, they've passed five laws for women, talking about giving them preference when it comes to military and equipment and all that. So they've passed five laws now. And when you want something, you speak to the people in charge, whether you like them or not.
Yes.
And who are the people in charge? The principal officers of the National Assembly. See, the president cannot pass this bill. Only the National Assembly can pass this bill. So who are those you speak to? You speak to them not as enemy, but as allies. And this is why I keep saying that women must recognize that it is not about just singing political songs for political leaders. It is about engaging them on an intellectual level. When you engage them at an intellectual level, you see that they would sit down, they would answer you, and they would ask you, what do you want? If they don't give you 1 to 10 of what you have on your list, they will give you 1 to 3. So it's not about singing, because I see women, the only thing they are reserved to is singing political songs. When a politician makes a speech, they stand up, they sing with their Ashwebi, Ashwebi. No, that has to stop. That has to stop. So you have to engage those who are there at an intellectual level, asking them relevant questions that will put them on their toes and know that Nigerian women are ready. Because if Nigerian women continue to sing political song at political rally, go for political rallies. Who do you see there? Women. Men don't. You can't find men there. Look at election. Who comes out a lot to vote? Women. We know the power of women. But until they start asking the right question and they start doing the right thing, they would not get what they want. And this is what it's all about. This is why VOW is there. Let's ask the right question. Let's get policy makers. Let's ask them, whether some people that are coming like them or not, they have to answer the question, engage them at an intellectual level, not singing on your mandate, not singing their name and shouting, "We stay with you," and all. So that is basically, I hope I've been able to like
Oh
answer Miss
yes,
Okoli's
oh
question.
yes, and I think you even blew it open because the questions that you asked are very, very valid and salient, because this also affects even the workplace. When you're being given a position of authority at your office, how do you engage? Do you just sit? Who's the person in authority? Like you mentioned the godson factor. I didn't even think about that. Like legacy is very, very important. That's why you see, political fathers say, "Oh, my predecessor, my successor, I'm the predecessor, then successor." I don't really see that with women. And this is really a call to us in whatever level of government, whether the government of your house or government of Nigeria, to make sure that the position they have been given, you have to also think about impact and legacy. Yes, Emmanuel, you want to say something?
For me, if a senator has a political godson that is contesting for councillorship in a local government, he will come all the way from Abuja to come and campaign for him, just for him to get into that slot. But put some women who have held political position into account. Let them have like a goddaughter. The fear of you going over me in a few years' time is always there. But for a man, it's rare for you to see. He's always happy to come down, put down one there, building a structure that will keep him in power for a long time. He has a political person as local government chairman, as councillor, as state of House of Assembly member. He has held down his constituency. These are people that relate with grassroots. So that's why I said it's a long ride, but we need to start for somewhere for women. And I believe that them putting their best foot forward when this bill is passed would help them a long way. Because if they don't get it with this reserve seats bill, it's going to be hard for them to get it.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Even me in my little corner, I'm thinking legacy as well. Like, what do I want? Who's taking, like, who am I grooming, to take over my position? Who am I grooming? Like, in the next 4 generations, I can see my impact. That's a question they said. And, over here at Women Radio, we're not just all about, we proclaim everything women, but when we see, like, things like this, we talk about it so that we can motivate each other, encourage each other to be better. This is, I really wish Stone was here, but because I know she would have loved this conversation. But let's go over to the messages. This one is from Mayo from Ikotuigwe. He says, "Good morning and happy brand new week to you all." Good morning and same to you too. "I was meant to understand that after God is government, but kidnappers, bandits, and Boko Haram are more powerful than the government of Nigeria. How can the government be romancing terrorists?" Thanks for your message. Emmanuel will respond shortly. Next, we have Olusoga Ajayi from Odonla Ikorodu. He says, "Obasanjo tried to amend the 1999 constitution in 2005-2006 to remove presidential term limits, and the following people tried their best and stopped him. Senate President then Ken Nnamani, Aminu Bello Masari, who was the Speaker House of Representatives, Atiku Abubakar, who was his vice, Muhammadu Buhari, the northern governors, and almost everyone in PDP faction refused. These are the loudest I remember. Some of us still get memory. We know what we know." This is in response to the headline that the former president Olusegun Obasanjo said he never told anybody that he wanted a 3rd term. So Olusoga Ajayi is coming with receipts. Love to see it. Good morning to you in the studio. On River State and return of Governor Fubara to the state, I hope both the governor and the state legislature have learned their lesson. And kudos to Mr. President and his economic team. The Naira is appreciating, indeed it is, and food prices are coming down little by little. Also, happy birthday to the First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu. Happy birthday to her. We say that as well. We're wishing her long life and good health. He also says on Dangote and the tanker drivers, I think we are in a new era in Nigeria in the oil sector, and people find it difficult to change. And both Dapman and Nupeng should know that changes are inevitable. My advice to this group is to play along with Dangote Refinery by establishing their own refinery and then compete with Dangote Refinery. They have made free money in the past, and that era is gone forever. For some states in the north who are still negotiating with bandits, this is very wrong. I do not know the mission of the so-called leader in the north who are not taking proactive measures against this criminal. I hope they will not turn Nigeria into countries like Gaza, Afghanistan, where criminals control some part of the country. This is additional Wasil from Ikorodu. Emmanuel, would you like to respond to any of them?
I think majority they were just majority of them were speaking about security.
Yes.
And I think it's an area that we know the government has not done well.
Yes.
And there has been a bit of failure on the part of government, though they don't want to admit. But the primary responsibility of any government, as I always say, is security and welfare. So a government that has not been able to handle security and welfare of the citizen, can they say to have done well? And this is what we see, and citizens are judging. So in Katsina and local government on Friday, an attack. In part of Kwara State, an attack. So we can't just, if we keep naming all these things, and then some state governors are dialoguing with bandits who are coming to negotiation table with RPGs and a whole lot of weapons, and they still take it back. And they are telling them that if you kill 10 of us, 20 of us will rise. I mean, that's a threat. Sometimes I just wish I'm in the position of power. That's a threat. So that's just the irony of what we see. And
I already told you I'll vote for you if you go into power.
I think I don't even have the cash chest yet to even go into it. Let me use the money I have to eat, I beg. So that's just it. And it's something that we need to keep talking about, because we need to keep calling governments and holding them accountable. The media is the first estate of the realm. And when you're part of the realm, you are the conscience, you need to speak to it. And this is why we speak to this every time. And I think from Olusoga, I think there's been a major stuff for him talking about the insecurity, and I feel his pain. I feel the fact that when you've seen Nigeria peaceful in time past, you should know that Nigeria can still be peaceful. I've done some night journey at my younger age, and I enjoyed it, but born me when I'm episode for night. So that's just the irony of what we have. So I think at this point we can just keep demanding and asking for accountability from the government.
Yes, we're just going to gloss over this one because we're running out of time. From the Punch newspaper, Ibas rejects Assembly's move to probe 6-month spending. This paper talks about, that the immediate past Rivers State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, and the Rivers State House of Assembly may be gearing up for a showdown following the latter's decision to probe the state's expenditure over the last few months under Ibas. That is, he ceased to be the administrator of the oil-rich state on September 17, following this end of the 6-month emergency rule, after President Bola Tinubu directed the suspended state governor, Simi Fubara, to return to office from the previous Thursday. I want to quickly scroll down. So this paper talks about how much has been coming into the state, and they're like, we need money to come. Like, money has been coming into the state, and then the House of Assembly is saying, hold on a minute, something is going on that is wrong. So they are saying they want him to be probed because